I welcome you all in another intellectual session of Gyan Ganga webinar series. Today's guest speaker is Dr. Srivaths Sir, Professor and HOD, Dept. of Samhita and Siddhanta, Government Ayurveda Medical College, Mysore, Karnataka, who has joined us today in the 218th episode of this knowledge voyage. I, Dr. Himanshu, on behalf of RAV, welcome you all for today's session. On the onset, we would also like to express our heartfelt gratitude and welcome our mentors who have always been there to guide, motivate, and encourage us for sustenance of this series. Respected Vaidya Sri Devendra Trigunaji, President of GBRAV, respected Vaidya Shri Rajesh Kotecha Sir, Secretary, Ministry of Ayush, respected Dr. Vanna Siroha Ma'am, Director RAV. Let us begin the session by seeking the blessings of Lord Dhanvantari.
नमामि धन्वन्तरिमादिदेवं सुरासुरवन्दितपादिपद्मं लोके जरारुक् द्वैमृत्युनाशं दातारिमीशं विविधौषधीनाम्.
Now, I would like to introduce today's expert, Dr. Srivaths Sir, who is going to throw light on the topic Bharatiya Anusandhan Paddhati. It is my great pleasure to introduce Dr. Srivaths Sir, a distinguished scholar, teacher, and researcher in the field of Ayurveda. Dr. Srivaths Sir currently serves as a professor and HOD of the PhD and postgraduate Department of Ayurveda Samhita and Siddhanta at Government Ayurveda Medical College, Mysore, procured double gold medals in final year BMS from Mysore University. With over 25 years of teaching experience, he has made invaluable contribution to undergraduate, postgraduate, and doctoral education in Ayurveda. An alumnus of Gujarat Ayurveda University, Jamnagar, and Government Ayurveda Medical College, Mysore, Dr. Shivats also holds a PG diploma in yoga and a Vidvat in Carnatic music and a master's degree in clinical nutrition and dietetics. He is the author of 31 books and has published over 200 research articles in reputed national and international journals. A passionate educator and guide, he has mentored numerous postgraduate and PhD scholars and continues to serve as a recognized PhD guide under RGUHS. His areas of expertise include Ayurveda, yoga therapy, and Sangeeta Chikitsa, a recipient of several awards, including the Best Teacher Award, Doctor's Day Award. Dr. Shivats is also an accomplished musician, speaker, and a contributor to health awareness through All India Radio and print media. We are truly honored to have such a versatile and dedicated personality among us today. Now, I would like to invite Sir to proceed with the lecture.
तस्मात् शास्त्रं प्रमाणं ते कार्य अकार्य व्यवस्थितौ ज्ञात्वा शास्त्रविधानं कर्म कर्तुम् इहार्हसि कर्म कर्तुम् इहार्हसि कर्म कर्तुम् इहार्हसि. Namaste Bhai. A very good afternoon to one and all. I started my talk keeping two important components in mind. The Haimis from Bhagavad Gita, which speaks about the importance of Shastra and Prayoga, Shastra-based Prayoga. Many times we focus more on Shastra, we forget Prayoga. There are few incidences wherein we focus on Prayoga and we forget Shastra. So when both Shastra and Prayoga clubbed together, synchronized together, synthesized
So
together.
sorry for the interruption, please. So I request you
Yes,
to please turn on your camera. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
so then there will be appropriate method of learning. There will be appropriate method of understanding. That's what Bharatiya Vidya speaks about. Bharatiya Anusandhana Paddhati is not an exception wherein both Shastra and Prayoga should go hand in hand. So with this background, let us try to know the concept of Bharatiya Anusandhana Paddhati, keeping Charaka Samhita in center. I started my talk with Raga Pantuvaradi, which is meant to have inquisitiveness and innovation, which is the base for all forms of Anusandhana. So the Adhikarana for today's presentation is Ayurveda Avatarana, because Ayurveda Avatarana is one which provides a comprehensive methodology for Bharatiya Anusandhana. Many times we consider it as mythology and we never give significant scope and we never try to understand the concept of Ayurveda Avatarana properly. So there is need to consider, there is need to know the concept of Ayurveda Avatarana very appropriately, which is certainly is the Adhikarana for Bharatiya Anusandhana Paddhati. As we all are aware of the concept of Ayurveda Avatarana, I'm not going to explain Ayurveda Avatarana here, but I'm just trying to highlight and explore how Ayurveda Avatarana is giving the pathway for Bharatiya Anusandhana Paddhati. As we all know, there were two important streams. One we call it as Deva Parampara, another one we call it as Rushi Parampara in the narration of Ayurveda Avatarana. Deva Parampara is indicating the lineage of knowledge. There was a flow of knowledge which was represented very specifically in the narration of Deva Parampara. We come across with four important personalities in Deva Parampara, as we all know. The narration, the transformation, the communication of Ayurveda started from Brahma, then to Prajapati, then to Ashwino, then to Indra. These four personalities are representing four important essentialities of knowledge. Brahma is representing purity, Prajapati is representing transformation, Ashwino representing communication, Indra is representing perception. Any form of knowledge gets existing, any form of knowledge will be having appropriate flow. Any form of knowledge get enriched when it possesses these four components. I mean to say, the knowledge should be in purest form, knowledge should be in transformable form, knowledge should be in communicable form, and knowledge should be in perceivable form. So ultimately, Deva Parampara, it is indicating the lineage of knowledge in the narration of Ayurveda Avatarana. So we get the description regarding Rishi Parampara 2 in that particular context, which is indicating lineage of skills. Bharatiya Anusandhana Paddhati exclusively depends on lineage of knowledge and lineage of skills. But unfortunately, current research methodologies are exclusively talking about skills than knowledge, and that is considered as skill based methodology wherein knowledge becomes outcome. But in Bharatiya Anusandhana Paddhati, both knowledge and skill, they should go hand in hand, which is very important one. So when we look into Rishi Parampara, we come across with the assembly of more than 52 sages at the place of Himalayan, which we already studied. So there we come across with the specification of various rishis. The naming of rishis has been done very significantly. It's a method, we call it as Nirukta, which is one among Vedanga. So here I am just mentioning 10 important skills which are represented by 10 sages, whoever gathered in that particular assembly. The word Sankhya indicates excellent knowledge. The word Parikshi indicates the one who is well versed with examination skills. The name Lokaksha indicates the one who possesses multiple visions. The name Vaikhanasa indicates asceticism or self discipline. The word Maitreya indicates the one who is having friendly attitude. The word Sankritya indicates excellence in performance. The name Bhrigu indicates stability. The name Katyayana indicates discipline. If the principle of Nirukta is applied to the word Galava, it indicates the state of trance. Based on the principles of Nirukta, Shandilya means purity. Narada is the one who is having good verbal communication. I have mentioned only 10, 12 here. There are 52 sages. If we go through the derivation of each term, then really we come to know how much skills are essential for us to move further in the field of Anusandhana Paddhati. So it is the Ayurveda Avatarana is into the phenomena of knowledge and wisdom. The journey takes place through existence, propagation, solution, analysis, action, realization, documentation. So, from the point of personalities, we come to know what Deva Parampara is, what Rishi Parampara is. From the method of process, we come to know all these components of the journey in knowledge as well as wisdom. So ultimately, let us consider, or let us realize that Ayurveda Avatarana is comprehensive research of ancient Bharata. The whole narration of Deva and Rishi Parampara is guiding us regarding historical as well as ethnographic research. All activities took place throughout. I mean to say, from the manifestation of disease till the solution, all the activities are indicating action research. Throughout the process, tracing the cause and effect association is evident, which is guiding us regarding causal research. The whole phenomena of Ayurveda Avatarana took place because of the manifestation of Vighna Bhuta Roga, that is indicating cross-sectional research. The outcome of Ayurveda Avatarana was Trisutra Ayurveda, which is indicating the experimental research. Swastha Atura Trisutra, which were invented, are indicating the correlational research. Again, Vignabhuta Roga was traced very appropriately, assessed very properly. That is indicating the process of survey, assembly of all the seers or assembly of all the rishis or sages at Himalaya. It is indicating cohort study because all the rishis they gathered with their observations, they gathered with their documentation there. Certainly, it is indicating longitudinal study also. Lebhire Paramam Sharma Jeevitam. That was the outcome, which is indicating theory testing research. And all the activity is based on Samanyam Cha Vishesham Cha. So the churning outcome was this one. So which is indicating theory building research. Vyadhayo Samutpanna. Sarva Prani Bhayankara. So the Vyadhi has been explored there. We get the directions, we get the principles of exploratory research. With all this, the research was communicated very appropriately there. The six important sages, including Agnivesha, Jatukarna, Harita, and all, they came up with their documentary texts, so which is indicating research communication, which we are talking nowadays. So, in toto, when we look into Ayurveda Avatarana, it is indicating the complete Bharatiya Anusandhana Paddhati with its components. With this background, let us try to understand few contexts of Charaka Samhita to incorporate in various forms of Bharatiya Anusandhana Paddhati. So I'm taking the support of a Prasanga Tantra Yukti here to mention different methodologies proposed, different methodologies explored, different methodologies established in Charaka Samhita. Let us go through this one by one. As we all know, research is a journey from opinion-based decision making towards evidence-based decision making. So earlier we were considering opinion to take or to establish decision, but nowadays we expect evidences for taking the decision or for making the decision. So with this eye, when we look into Charaka Samhita, we get very beautiful guidelines for this specific methodology. It is explained as concept of Siddhanta. So concept of Siddhanta is very specific one which is explained in Vimanasthana 8th chapter, which is having four important components as we all know. They are Mana, Meya, Mata and Miti. Mata or Pramata sets Meya, that is Prameya. Pramata attains or achieves Pramiti through Pramana. So when we look into this whole phenomena of Siddhanta, then certainly we realize that it is indicating the journey from opinion towards evidence. This is the first methodology of research what we get in Charaka Samhita. We will move on to the next one. As we all know, research, it is a process of induction and deduction. We will try to know what induction is, what deduction is, and how that has been reflected very properly in Charaka Samhita. The process of deduction always starts with theory or concept. There will be a concept. So based on the concept, hypothesis will be framed. Based on hypothesis, various observations will be done. Finally, the concept will be clubbed with observation to confirm it. So this reactive process, we call it as deductive approach. When we look into Charaka Samhita Purvartha, there we get this method of narration. I mean to say, deductive approach is reflected very appropriately in Charaka Samhita first part. I mean to say, whatever we have the classification like Sutrasthana, Nidana, Vimana, Sharira, Indriya. In these five sthanas, we get this deductive approach. When we look into inductive approach, which starts with observations first. So based on observations, there will be patterning. And based on patterning, tentative hypothesis will be framed. And finally, the concept will be built up. So this chain reaction indicates inductive approach, which again is reflected very appropriately in Charaka Samhita Uttarartha. I mean to say, in Chikitsa Sthana, Kalpasthana as well as Siddhisthana. This classification of Charaka like Purvardha and Uttarartha, even though it is not there in the Mula, but for our convenience, for our academic narration, for our academic description, that particular classification has been made. Let us try to know the third orientation regarding research in Charaka Samhita. Research is the method of examination. So with this background, when we look into Charaka Samhita, we get the beautiful description of Pariksha, which includes four important phases. First one is Aptopadesha, second one is Pratyaksha, third one is Anumana, fourth one is Yukti. Many times we think that these four are essential only for the examination of disease and deceased. But Pariksha are having application beyond that, which we are supposed to realize, which we are supposed to sense. Aptopadesha is preparatory phase of any action. Pratyaksha is the observation phase of all actions. Anumana is analytical phase of any action, whereas Yukti is the conclusion phase of an action. Research is not an exception because it's an active phase, it's an active phenomenon. We will try to know the next orientation, we will try to know the next perspective of research. Research is the process of establishment of relation between cause and effect. So with this background, when we look into the concept of Charaka Samhita, we have the description regarding Karana, Karana and all, which are included or which are explained under Dashavidha Parikshya Vishaya. There are 10 important components which are very essential to understand the association between cause and effect. They are Karana, Karana, Karya Yoni, Karya, Karya Phala, Anubandha, Desha, Kala, Pravritti, and Upaya. Karana is nothing but a research scholar. Karana is indicating the materials and methods, whatever we use in the process of research. Karya Yoni is indicating the research problem itself. Karya is nothing but the process of research itself. Karya Phala is talking about research outcome. The outcome of research, which is instant in nature, is coming under Karya Phala, whereas Anubandha is the later outcome of the research. Desha is indicating the research institute, whereas Kala is indicating the duration of research. Pravritti is proper initiation of the research itself, and Upaya is nothing but study protocol. So this is another perspective, another orientation of a research what we get in Charaka Samhita. We have one more orientation regarding research in Ayurveda, which is explained under the context of Paradiguna. So this could be understood, this can be understood based on the definition of research as research is the process of achievement or attainment. So which is called as Siddhi there. So we know 10 Paradigunas like Paraparatve Yuktischa, Sankhya Samyoga Evacha, Vibhagascha Prathaktvam cha, Parimanam Athapi cha, Samskaro Abhyasa Ityete, Gunajneyaha Paradayaha. The last line is very important one. Siddhi Upayaha. These are all the tools or technologies which are very essential for achievement or attainment of anything. So let us try to know how these Paradi Gunas are utilized or how these Paradi Gunas are mandatory in the process of research. Para as well as Apara are the tools for comparative studies, whatever we do. This is applicable, this is not applicable, this is more ideal, this is not utilizable, this is superior, this is inferior. Whatever the comparisons we do in the process of research, there we make use of para as well as apara. The whole phenomena of research should have proper coordination. So this is attained or this is going to be achieved through yukti. So proper coordination in the process of research work is because of yukti. The statistical analysis which is going to be done in the process of research is based on the concept of sankhya, and we have the concept of samyoga and vibhaga, which guides us regarding method of addition and deletion, whatever we do in the process of research. We are in need of specification as well as modification while conducting anusandhanam. For that, we make use of prathaktva as well as prathaktva as well as samskara, whereas parimana helps us for qualitative as well as quantitative measurement in anusandhanam. The last very important one is abhyasa, the process of repetition, which is significantly highlighted in Paradiguna, is mandatory for Bharatiya Anusandhana Paddhati. Single observation cannot be considered as standard evidence. We are in need of multiple evidences which can be achieved through this abhyasa. Research is the process of verbal as well as textual documentation. Whatever that has to be done, that has to be documented. How the document has to be prepared, that is explained in the context of, again, Vadamarga, which is explained in Charaka Samhita Vimanasthana 8th chapter. The process of documentation always falls under 8 important steps. It starts with planning and initiation of research work, field and scope of the research, title of the work, methodology, establishment of research, tools of research, presentation of research work, faults of presentation and work, failure of project, and rejection of research. So all these 9 steps are explained very beautifully in the context of Vadamarga. I'm not going to explain Vadamarga in detail here. My intention is just to sensitize about different methodologies of research explained in Charaka Samhita. So that's why I'm just putting few seeds for you so that you can utilize them for your further understanding, for your further elaboration. So the method of documentation has been explained in the context of Vadamarga. It's a way for documentary communication as well as verbal communication. Research is the method of examination, classification, as well as analysis of the subject. With this background, when we look into Charaka Samhita, we get 4 important parikshas explained, which are very essential to know the concept of Anusandhanam properly. First one is Shastra, second one is Dravya or Oshadha, third one is Yoga or formulations, fourth one is Chikitsa. So these 4 are different areas of research, and these 4 guides us regarding the procedure in different areas of research. Let us try to know the Shastra Pariksha, Dravya Pariksha, Yoga Pariksha, and Chikitsa Pariksha. How Shastra Pariksha has to be done, that guides us regarding literary as well as fundamental research, how Dravya Pariksha has to be done, and how that helps us in the process of drug research, how Yoga Pariksha has to be done, and how it helps in pharmaceutical research, and how Chikitsa Pariksha has to be done, and how it helps in clinical research. Let us try to know this one by one.
There is some network issue. Please, I request all the participants to wait for 5 minutes. Thank you.
Namaste, am I audible?
Anjan sir, audible.
Okay.
Sir, please
Apologies for
turn on your
inconvenience.
camera, please.
Yes, yes. Apologies for the inconvenience. We were talking about four important components of research to be known. As I already said, one is Shastra, second one is Dravya, third one is Prayoga or Yoga, fourth one is Chikitsa. So first, let us try to know what Shastra Pariksha is. Shastra Pariksha is one which has to be done keeping two, three important methodologies mentioned in Charaka Samhita. First one is a concept of Prashnastakam that guides us how Shastra Pariksha has to be done, which is very essential component in literary research. The second method, as we all know, about Sutra, Tantra, Samhita, Pratisamskarana, Sampurna, and Patashuddhi. This is another methodology through which we understand Bharatiya Shastras, including Ayurveda Shastra. So this is another method for knowing Shastra very appropriately. Shastra Pariksha has been reflected in Charaka Samhita in another orientation, that is Ayu Siddhanta, which guides us regarding fundamental principles, which guides us regarding conducting research in fundamental research area. Moving on to the next one, Dravya Pariksha, how Dravya has to be examined, how Dravya has to be assessed comprehensively, completely. That is reflected in various contexts. Let me highlight those contexts one by one. In Charaka Samhita Sutrasthana 26th chapter, we have different methods of evaluation of Dravya, including the concept of Rasa Panchaka. The Bheshaja Chatushka itself, which is the first division of Charaka Samhita Sutrasthana, guides us regarding Dravya Pariksha, guides us regarding evaluation of Aushadha. In Charaka Samhita Vimanasthana 8th chapter, in the context of Karana, we get the description regarding Dravya Pariksha extensively, evam prakritihi, evam yonihi, asmin deshe jatam, asmin brutau, and so on. So the steps involved in evaluation of Dravya are explained in that particular context. So these references guide us regarding the appropriate method of examination of Dravya. Moving on to the next one, Yoga Pariksha, how the formulation has to be assessed, how the formulation has to be examined, how the formulation has to be designed. If we want to have our own formulation, what methodology we are supposed to follow. That is explained in Charaka Samhita, Kalpasthana, 12th chapter, Samyoga, Vishlesha, Kala, Samskara, and Yukti. These terminologies are self-explanatory. So these methods to be incorporated for appropriate evaluation of yoga. Of course, concept of Paradiguna too guides us regarding yoga pariksha. Moving on to the next pariksha, that is chikitsa, which is very important one. Whenever we want to follow Bharatiya Anusandhana Paddhati, the chikitsa has to be evaluated based on the description given in Charaka Samhita. We have few references regarding the same. How the Roga Pariksha has to be done or how the Roga has to be evaluated or assessed, that is explained in the context of Charaka Samhita Vimanasthana, 4th chapter. How Rogi has to be examined, that is explained in Charaka Samhita Vimanasthana, 8th chapter, under Prakriti, Vikriti, Sara, Sammanana, and so on. Of course, we have the method of Chikitsa Pariksha in again Vimanasthana 8th chapter under the heading of Dhatu Samya Lakshana. So this is what we are supposed to incorporate whenever we are planning to evaluate the Chikitsa, whatever we do. We know research is the process of invention too. Do we have guidelines regarding innovating something new based on the principles of Ayurveda? Certainly, yes. In Charaka Samhita, we have futuristic orientation for 4 important components. One is new disease, another one is new drug, third one is new formulation, fourth one is new therapeutics. So if we come across with a new disease, or if we see a particular disease which is new in nature, then what guidelines to be incorporated for its evaluation? We have the guidelines. So anything which is new, which is emerging, for evaluation of same, we have the guidelines in Charaka Samhita very appropriately. So the methodologies are like this. New disease has to be understood based on the principles of Trividha Bodhya Sangraha. So we are supposed to know Prakriti, Samutthana, Adhisthana pertaining to a new disease that has been emerged. Prakriti is talking about innate nature of the disease which is emerged. Samutthana is talking about the factors which contributed for the manifestation of that particular disease. Adhisthana is talking about the component of Purusha which is affected due to that particular disease. So when we evaluate these three, then understanding new disease, assessing new disease from the point of Ayurveda, from the principles of Ayurveda will be very appropriate one. Moving on to the second component, whenever we come across with new dravya, new aushadha, how we should proceed further to read it, to understand it, to study it. That is explained based on 3 principles, Nama Jnana, Rupa Jnana, and Guna Jnana. Naming is a technology in Bharatiya Vidya. This we have to realize always. Naming has not been done mechanically. Naming has been done with method. When we realize it, then understanding the principles of Ayurveda will be very easy for us. For example, in a particular formulation, the word simhasyam, if it is used, then what has to be considered? This is very important one. Simhasya is the synonym of vasa. From the point of botany, if we consider, then it will be Adatoda Vasika for us. But in the formulation, what is mentioned? It is Simhasyam. We are not supposed to use any other forms of Adatoda Vasika except its flower. Simhasya is the synonym given for Vasa based on the appearance of its flower, as we all know. So naming is a science for us which we are supposed to realize always. That's what nama here means. Nama with its paryayas. This is very technological methodology to know dravya. Second one, rupa. Here the word rupa speaks about the whole life cycle of a particular herb. When we study herb or dravya, from its birth till its excretion from human body, then the study will be complete. This point always we have to keep in our mind. So the word rupa here speaks about the same. The word guna includes pharmacological properties as well as actions of that particular dravya. So whenever we come across with any new dravya, we are supposed to follow this triphasic methodology to know the dravya comprehensively. Moving on to third one, this I already told you, just I am repeating the same. If we want to have any new formulation of our own, even though we have n number of formulations in Charaka Samhita and Sushruta Samhita, our ancestors were kind enough, our ancestors were open enough to provide freedom for everyone and anyone to learn the subject, to have his own intellectual orientation. They have given freedom for us to have our own formulation based on five important principles. They are Samyoga, Vishlesha, Kala, Samskara, and Yukti. So these five principles to be incorporated whenever we want to have our own formulation. Coming to the fourth examination method, which has been mentioned in Charaka Samhita Pariksha, is again given in Charaka Samhita Chikitsa Sthana 30th chapter. They have given three principles based on which we can understand any new disease. One is dosha viparitam. Second one is dushya viparitam. Third one is nidana viparitam. Whatever might be the disease, we are going to understand the disease based on the principle of dosha. So chikitsa should be opposite to the vikrita dosha. Similarly, whatever the vyadhi we come across with, vyadhi is because of vikrita doshya. So opposite to that has to be given as chikitsa. Nidana is the cause for the vyadhi, as we all know. Opposite to that has to be advised either in the form of pathya, ahara, as well as vihara. That itself will become chikitsa. So this is how whenever we come across with a new disease, we are supposed to design chikitsa, which is evident in Charaka Samhita, Chikitsa Sthana, 30th chapter. Research is the process of precision, specification, and orientation. With this orientation or with this vision, when we look into Bharatiya Anusandhana Paddhati, when we look into Bharatiya Vidyas, especially Darshanas, we get various terminologies, technical terminologies, which are pointing towards different components of research, different steps of research, different methods of research, which is very essential for us to understand. We come across with the word padartha. We studied padartha already, which is indicating ontology. The word prama is indicating the research outcome. The word pramana is indicating the tools used in research. Prameya is the technique which helps to design research topic. Aptopadesha is a method which is published knowledge. Pratyaksha is guiding us to collect data through different observations. Savikalpaka Pratyaksha is a technique which helps us in descriptive studies. Anumana, it helps us to analyze the data, or it is guiding us regarding inferential knowledge. Purvavat Anumanam is a prospective methodology. Sheshavat Anumanam is retrospective methodology or retrospective study. Samanyato Drishtam Anumanam helps us regarding cross-sectional study or prevalence studies. The concept of Panchavaya Vakya comprehensively explains the research process. Pratigna is helpful to measure the problem. Hetu is nothing but the evidences, whatever we generate in the process of research. Udaharanam is nothing but the references, whatever we make use of in the process of research. Upanayam is nothing but research justification. The prayojana, which is evident in Charaka-Samhita, is indicating the purpose of research. The concept of Siddhanta itself is helping us to know about the method of theory building. Concept of Karya-Karana Siddhanta speaks about the association, the process of association in the process of research. Paksha is talking about study sample. Sapaksha is a technique for sample of previous successive research. Vipaksha is indicating negative control. Sahacharyam is indicating coincidence. Vyapti is indicating correlation or association. The concept of paramartha helps us to know the concept of causation. Concept of hetvabhasa helps us to know the concept of bias. So now let us try to know how we should move further in Bharatiya Anusandhana Paddhati that I am going to explain under the heading of Sambhava Tantra Yukti. The vision, the orientation, the methodology, which will be useful in the process of Ayurveda research, can be understood with the vision of globalization to self-realization, self-evolution, and self-evaluation. So this we can achieve through two components. One, I mean to say, as Ayurveda research domains and pentafold Ayurveda research methodology. There are four important research domains in Ayurveda. This is applicable for all Bharatiya Vidyas too. They are as follows. First one is Shastra. For all Bharatiya Anusandhana, Shastra is the base. Let me clarify this a bit. Without Shastra, we cannot conduct Anusandhana in Bharatiya Vidyas. In Bharatiya Vidyas, Anusandhana is always Shastra-based one. In contemporary research, what happens? Shastra develops once a research is completed. But in Bharatiya Anusandhana, Anusandhana starts from Shastra. So I want to call it as literary domain. This has to be done always, starting from Vedas till the generation of Soft. I mean to say, whenever we are doing Anusandhana, whenever we are planning to conduct Anusandhana in Bharatiya Vidya, always it should start from Veda, then it should move to Upanishad, Darshana, Samhita, Nighantu, Vyakhya, Sangraha, and so on. The journey always should be from hard to soft, as we are in the era of software. Here, I want to highlight the importance of manuscriptology. As we are from the field of Ayurveda, that's why I mentioned it as Ayurveda manuscriptology. The utmost neglected component in Bharatiya Anusandhana Paddhati is manuscript. So manuscript is the source for Bharatiya Anusandhana Paddhati. This we have to keep in our mind. We should never neglect. For others, we should show how much enriched we are in the field of manuscript. The second one is Dravya, second domain. I want to call it as Dravya. It is pharmacological domain. All Bharatiya Anusandhana Paddhati depends on this one. The understanding of Dravya from the point of Anusandhana should follow on these two principles. The journey of Dravya should start from Bhumi Desha and it should end in Deha Desha. But always we are focusing on Dravya fractionally than comprehensively. This should not happen. That's why I mentioned it as Dravya as a whole on individual as a whole. So these two technologies should be kept in mind whenever we are focusing on Dravya domain, which is the second one. Moving on to the another method, which is very essential in the field of Dravya Anusandhana. There are two methods. One is retrospective method, another one is prospective method. Retrospective method is one which is based on the classics of Ayurveda or classics of Bharatiya Vidya, whereas prospective is one which is exclusively based on current existing vegetation. So these points should be kept in mind whenever we are talking about the second domain. The third domain is pharmaceutical domain, that is Kalpana. Here we are supposed to keep 2 points in mind. One, the description regarding the yogas in the classics. I want to call it as Shastra. Second one, the narration of yoga, which are developed based on experience. I want to call it as Anubhava. The last one, which is at most important one, is Chikitsa. I want to call it as therapeutic domain. So here again, we should have two important orientations. One, comprehensive orientation. Second one is conditional orientation. Whole Charaka Samhita has been designed based on these two methods. So whenever we are talking about Bharatiya Anusandhana Paddhati, these two methods should be kept in our mind. Let us have this pentafold methodology of research for Ayurveda and also for all Bharatiya Vidyas. Let us try to know how these to be incorporated. Point number one is observation. All Bharatiya Vidyas should be subjected for Anusandhana based on this observation. We have to observe. Observation is the first method which has to be incorporated. Many times we focus only on intervention. We forget non-intervention. But we have to focus more on both, which is very essential. I mean to say, prevalence of Nidana, particular Nidana, in the manifestation of particular disease. So this is an example for non-interventional observation. Giving some medicine and observing its effect, that comes under interventional form of observation. So observation is one specific method for all Bharatiya Vidyas. Even Ayurveda is also not an exception. The second method is a survey. Many times whenever the word survey comes, people they think only about a drug survey. But Ayurveda speaks about survey under three phases, or Bharatiya Anusandhana Paddhati speaks about survey under three levels. One from the point of literature, second from the point of drug, third from the point of biological surveys. I mean to say, excuse me, assessment of doshic stages, assessment of the stages of dhatu, evaluation of the stages of srutas. These methods follow under biological survey. These methods come under biological survey. So survey is a very expanded form of method in Bharatiya Anusandhana Paddhati, which should be used judiciously. Moving on to the third one, that is comparison. Bharatiya Anusandhana Paddhati is having wide range of orientation, is having wide range of acceptability. If you go through the literature from the point of Bhasha, we get comparative studies in relation with composition of Kalidasa and William Wordsworth, William Shakespeare, like this. So it's only possible in Bharatiya Vidyas wherein they have given wide range of technologies for comparison. From the point of Ayurveda, you can have comparison between different treatment modalities. We can have comparison between Shodhana and Shamana. We can have comparison between two Aushadas. We can have comparative studies in relation with the two yogas, like that. Comparison is one area where we have utmost scope, but the purpose behind comparison should be defined well, which is very important. The fourth one is incorporation of technology. Bharatiya Anusandhana Paddhati is very broad. Bharatiya Anusandhana Paddhati is very acceptable even for the technology. It's because of technology we are connected today. It's because of technology we have evolved today. But we should know the judicious utility, judicious application of technology in the field of Bharatiya Anusandhana Paddhati. We want to convert the manuscripts into soft form. Certainly, it is acceptable. We want to replace the process of Abhyanga with AI. Certainly, it is not acceptable because Abhyanga is having its own specific human touch. We want to incorporate soft technology there. Certainly, it is not applicable because human touch cannot be replaced with software or cannot be replaced with any technology. So we should know this specific demarcation whenever we are talking about Bharatiya Anusandhana Paddhati. Even Ayurveda is not an exception for the same. Evaluation is one more area which is having utmost importance, which is having utmost scope in Bharatiya Anusandhana Paddhati. We have to evaluate different components related with Loka and Purusha. Utmost importance for the same has been provided in Bharatiya Anusandhana Paddhati, and this is one more method which we are supposed to incorporate in the process of Bharatiya Anusandhana Paddhati. Currently, what we are in need of, this is very challenging. So we are in need of educational research. We are in need of Anusandhana in Bharatiya Shikshana itself. I mean to put this educational research under those phrases. Second one, we are in need of professional research. I want to consider it as Anusandhana in different vritti, which is very essential one. And now we are in need of research in research. I mean to say Anusandhana in Anusandhana Paddhati. This is the need of our, I mean to say. But our orientation is towards fraction than comprehensive orientation. So there is need to realize it, which is very important. But certainly the future Anusandhana Paddhati will be interdisciplinary, interdisciplinary, and transdisciplinary. Why I'm highlighting this one is earlier we were very significant in the process of fraction. Nowadays, we are very particular in the process of coordination. So that's what I intended to say as intradisciplinary, interdisciplinary, and transdisciplinary. When we do this, then we could be able to contribute significantly to Bharatiya Anusandhana Paddhati, and we will be able to understand the concept of Bharatiya Anusandhana Paddhati properly. As we all know, science without wisdom is blind. Wisdom without science is lame. The goal is ours from yesterday, and the methodology be appropriately redeveloped from science of today. Let us go ahead. Let me consider the Nirnaya for my talk today based on the shloka of Charaka-Samhita. As we all know, Vidya Vitarko Vijnanam Smritihi Tatparata Kriya Yasyete Shadgunaha Tasya Nasadhyam Ativartate. It's very specifically mentioned in Charaka-Samhita that whenever we want to achieve anything and everything in any field of Bharatiya Vidya, including Bharatiya Anusandhana Paddhati, then we should incorporate 6 important qualities. The first one is Vidya. Vidya is nothing but Shastra Jnanam. So we should master particular Vidya. Second one is Vijnana. So if we have mastered, does it sufficient? Certainly no. Along with that one, We should have Shastrantara Jnana. We should be well versed with other supportive sciences too. The third one is Vitarka. Along with the Shastra Jnana, we should have critical thinking. We should have critical analytical orientation. Then only we will be able to achieve anything. The fourth one is a Smriti. We should have very good memory. And we should be dedicated enough to achieve anything, that is Tatparata. With all these five qualities, if we are not ready to act, it is of no use. So there should be Kriya, there should be conscious action. It should not be mechanical action. There should be conscious action through which we can achieve success in anything and everything. With this, let me conclude my talk. I take this opportunity to thank all the office bearers, all the administrative uh, people of RAV for giving me this opportunity to share few of the concepts which are explained in Charaka Samhita with you all. Thank you one and all. So if you have anything to add, if you have anything to interact, if the organizers are providing time for interaction, I think we can have. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I request participants and CRV students, if anyone is having any doubt, then please ask.
Hello, excuse me, sir. I'm
Yes,
Dr.
sir.
Krishnaya from Tirupati, Aryavi Guru. First of all,
Yes,
I
sir. Please.
appreciate your very crystal clear presentation. The thing, just your lecture raises many queries. See, first of all, the Bharatiya Anusandhana Paddhati is the term coined by you, or is it available in our literature? Number two, is it being practiced in Samhita Siddhanta departments of Ayurvedic institutions? If it is so, is it they recently there was the update of syllabuses UG and PG happened recently. Is it incorporated in the new syllabus? The number four, in your presentation,
Three.
number three, okay. Here in your presentation, by and large, I saw the terminology used in modern research methodology is expressed in Ayurvedic terminology or our Siddhanta terminology. That is there. And your last slide, that interdisciplinary and intradisciplinary. When interdisciplinary research, then we have to be along with the pace with the what is going on globally, the research methodology going on globally or in practice. And the whatever methodology that we follow, it will be intradisciplinary within ourselves. Is it acceptable globally or not? So these are my queries. I wanted clarity, clarification from you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Question number one regarding Bharatiya Anusandhana Paddhati. That is the term which has been proposed, which has been utilized, which has been mentioned by IKS. They are conducting all the research activities. They are conducting all the workshops based on the terminology Bharatiya Anusandhana Paddhati. So that's why my intention behind using that one is, as it has been introduced by governing bodies, that's why I have taken the word from that one. This is point number one. Coming to point number two, as you asked about the applicability, being the person of Samhita and Siddhanta, in the new curriculum, Samhita-based research has been proposed. That is one syllabus point which has been incorporated in NCSM syllabus. And the practicality of the same has been introduced, and the applicability of the same has been introduced already in the curriculum, and that's going on. As I am in the field of Samhita Siddhanta and I am working in the field of Samhita Siddhanta itself, To the maximum extent where all the principles can be incorporated practically, we are doing the same in the department, that is into the practice. Coming to your question number 3 about interdisciplinary, intradisciplinary, as well as transdisciplinary. In the previous points, whatever I discussed there itself, where all it's needed, where all it's not needed. All the points I already highlighted. For example, when we talk about the research process from the point of literature, there we will be in need of the concept like Tantra Yukti. We will be in need of concept like Vadamarga. We will be in need of the concept like Prashnastakam and all. From the point of a Dravya, when we talk about, we are supposed to know the concept of Dravya from the description of Rasapanchaka, which is mentioned in the text. That is one method. And sometimes, as I already mentioned, when we come across with new Dravya, then what procedure we are supposed to follow, what technique we are supposed to follow. So we are supposed to evaluate Rasapanchaka there. To evaluate Rasapanchaka of a Dravya which has been emerged newly, I mean to say that which is in practice, in traditional practices, or which has been emerged from the recent scientific evidences. So if we want to study such drugs, then automatically we are supposed to take the support of contemporary evidences just to understand the concepts of Ayurveda in a better way. So that's what I intended to communicate it as interdisciplinary as well as transdisciplinary. Many times what happens when we incorporate interdisciplinary as well as intradisciplinary, we come across with few, I don't want to call it as conflicts. I want to call it as intellectual variations. So to overcome that, we are supposed to involve in transdisciplinary orientation in which all the people should involve in the subject in then it will be very easy to come up with authenticated knowledge in the form of wisdom. So that's what I intended to talk about the particular interdisciplinary as well as intradisciplinary and transdisciplinary. Coming to the terminologies, whatever I used, see up to 12th, what happens? We have tuned ourselves with a different education system. After that, we enter Bharatiya Vidyas. We enter to the field of Bharatiya Vidya. Our mindset has been tuned in such a way that the word like retrospective catches us, the word like prospective catches us. So it is just to sensitize about the concepts which are mentioned in the text from that orientation in this orientation. That's it. That's it. It doesn't mean that it is not like it is mentioned in contemporary research, and I want to say that it is there in our research. It is not like it is not used in that sense. So as the people in the field of Ayurveda are familiar with those contemporary terminologies, so that's why I just used those terminologies to explain the concepts mentioned in Charaka Samhita. That's all. I think I explained for your queries. Thank you.
Say, sorry, my mic was the closed there. It was off. So the last point that still I want some clarification. See that whatever now the in Ayurvedic field also the whatever seminars and yes, yes. Hello, hello.
Yes, sir. Carry on.
There's some disturbance was there.
No, for me, no disturbance.
Okay. Then, so the what we are the conducting the seminars and whatever the this scientific communication programs are being done, they are purely based on contemporary the method only. So that is what the and the this contemporary method, whatever the Bharatiya Anusandhana Paddhati, is it is it acceptable by the international scientific community? That is my point. Wanted the clarification. So suppose now
Certainly, yes, sir.
whatever the papers now presenting in a seminar purely based on the contemporary method. For example, when we are making a scientific communication, that the objective, material, methods, and the discussion, the results, discussion and conclusion, all this we are following, and this is being followed universally the same. So that can you make this or that is what going on even in Ayurvedic system also. So it is. I am very happy whatever you told, and that should be, and this should be taken up by the government of India, DST Department of Science and Technology. And from there it has to be started. It should not be related to only Ayurveda, even for every field of research. So this is the thing I wanted to know.
I do accept whatever you said. For your understanding, let me share a few of the points with you. People of IIT, they started utilizing Tantra Yukti to present the paper. They started utilizing the concept of Tantra Yukti to document the research outcomes. So that's going on, and it's our responsibility to start Bharatiya Anusandhana Paddhati from our level. Automatically, that is going to be. Of course, I do accept we have few challenges at administration level. We have few challenges at regulatory levels. But when we start talking about the subject in our own language, automatically it is going to be accepted. As the number is less now, people might not be accepting, or we might be having a challenge there. But it's possible to do that uh, at our own level first. Then it's possible to make it universal. So we have to start, which is very essential. See, earlier, case study was not at all going to be considered in any research platform. Okay, we now they started accepting it. So we are getting a platform wherein we can talk about Purusham Vikshya. So single case, whatever we observed based on the principles of Ayurveda, that can be presented, that can be documented, that can be appropriately organized. So days are changing, people are changing, people are accepting, but we should be in such a way that step by step, we should be ready to present the concepts very appropriately. Tantra Yukti module is getting a lot of scope nowadays. They are bringing up the module for documentation as well as publication.
Thank you so
I'm
much.
just telling one example.
चलिए श्रीवास्तव जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। आपने बहुत अच्छा सुंदर चित्रण किया। आयुर्वेद वंश परंपरा का, त्रिसूत्र का बहुत बहुत बधाई और धन्यवाद। राष्ट्रीय विद्यापीठ को आपको हेलो।
Namaste, sir. You are audible. In between, we were missing.
हाँ डॉक्टर साहब, बहुत बहुत बधाई, धन्यवाद। बहुत अच्छा आपने आयुर्वेद परंपरा का वर्णन किया, त्रिसूत्र का वर्णन किया, और हमारे छात्रों को आपका जो है प्रेरणादायक व्याख्यान मिलने का जो अवसर मिला, इसकी बहुत बहुत बधाई आपको। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, sir.
Excellent recording.
इसकी अच्छी सुंदर व्याख्या की आपने वंश परंपरा की, बहुत अच्छा।
Thank you, sir.